The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hey guys, welcome. We are super excited that you have decided to join us today for the Be Your Own Captain of Conception. Awesome. If you can hear us okay, then there should be a hand up button on your right side of your screen. If you can hear us okay, just put your hand up. Let us know that you can hear us. Yay, great, thanks. Awesome. Vicky, Natalie, beautiful. Thanks, guys. And can you see the screen? Do you see our beautiful pirate lady? Again, you can raise your hand if you can see it, please. That would be super helpful. Yeah, raise your hand and then put it back down. Yeah. You see okay? Yay. All right. Yay. Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Alison. Okay, so let us begin. Welcome, Captain of Conception. You are ready. So today we're going to talk about how to commandeer, navigate, and set sail on your fertility journey. So it's all about taking control, figuring out where you're going, and then actually going. Probably a lot of you you're actually setting sail right now. So we're going to, so for this next hour, we're going to kind of take a step back and then take control of our ship again. Beautiful. Yeah. So we are going to be moving fast. So we're going to go quickly through this because we want to get through lots in this hour. So we'll be going through fast. You're still welcome to put up some questions if you have any questions now or a little bit later. And then we want you to stick around to the end. So we will tell you how, for those of you who aren't working with us yet one-on-one, we will tell you how you can do that. Some of you are in the do-it-yourself stage right now, so we hope you get a lot out of today anyway. And then, yeah, we will give you the slides and a recording at the end. So stick around to the end, and then you'll get that. And then if someone can remind us at the end, we will send that out as an email to you later. Awesome. Cool. All right. So we want to begin with a question. How did you feel the last time you saw your doctor or your specialist surrounding your fertility? We would love to hear your comments and questions. You can type those in. That would be super. Mm-hmm. And yeah, this is the interactive portion. If you want to just quickly type in a word or two that made you, how did you feel the last time you saw them? Rushed. Yeah, thanks, Alison. A waste of time. Yep, we hear that. That's for sure. Frustrated. Yep. Confused. Yep, there's another good one. That's a good one. Definitely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, annoyed. Rushed and old and dusty. Wow. Oh, no. Yeah, that's special. Yeah, we hear this is so sad. So sad. Oh. Yeah, okay, these are not great words, right? Didn't feel like you were given all the information. Yeah, that's huge, hey? Mm-hmm. That sucks. We hear that time and time again. People, yeah, they feel rushed, that it was a waste of time, like you're in and out, you're not getting all the information, so then you feel confused. Yeah. And then you feel frustrated. Like, what am I doing here? Well, that rush, that big step, some of you went because you thought maybe you were going to do some testing, and then all of a sudden they're talking about IVF, and you're wondering what the heck happened in between. So that's another big frustration for sure. Yeah. What would you like it to be like? And this is where we want to take you. You know, instead of all of these words, fat, annoyed, frustrated, confused, we'd like you to feel like you're part of the process, that you were heard, that you were given the options, you understood your options, and that you knew what might lie ahead, so that you get to go at your own pace. And you and your, as we will now call him, first mate, are on the same page, and that you know what's coming, and that you're no longer feeling like you don't get to choose. Yeah, I hear that a lot, is that that they jumped to IVF so quickly. Like they were surprised. Like the couples were like, whoa, like where's the in-between stage? Yeah. What the heck? Like, I'm not ready for that yet. That's not in my plan. So then, they take the step back, and then that's where that's where these steps that we're going to talk to you about kind of come into play, is what you can do in the meantime.
Absolutely. So here we are. Some of you know us, some of you don't. I'm Kerri. I'm on the left in the red.
Yes, I'm Whitney. Hello, I'm on the right. We are two naturopathic doctors working out of Barrie, Ontario, and our local practices had a fertility focus for a number of years now. So over and over, we see couples wanting desperately to be pregnant. They go to their doctor, they aren't pregnant yet, they were told to wait a year. Keep trying, relax.
Relax, my favorite.
So then there's more waiting, right? Waiting for the referral to fertility clinic, waiting for more tests, waiting to do cycle monitoring. So we saw the need. We talked to our patients and they said, hey, we've got a friend out in the country or out in another province or the States, and they aren't getting the help that they need. They don't have that person to help navigate with them.
Absolutely.
So that's why we're doing these webinars now for you guys.
Because this is really what it comes down to. It's all those missed opportunities. Cycle after cycle of waiting, of doing another test, of waiting for that referral. These are all opportunities that you have to be bettering your health, bettering your chances, so that next time things have a better opportunity to work out. And this has been the biggest thing that we have seen is just, especially for those of us not getting any younger, the time is pressing, and we really want to make sure that you are using every opportunity for you and your man to be as strong as possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that you're doing something. You're not just sitting idle. You're given tools that are helping your chances, helping your odds.
Yeah, it's about being proactive, right? So here we go, captive to captain, going from that frustrated, annoying place that you all described to being in charge. You are the one on your way.
Mm-hmm. Taking back some of the power, holding some of the cards in your hand, so that you're not complete mercy of others. And we're not dissing fertility clinics because we work well with quite a few of them, and we are happy to refer when it's the time and when the couple's ready, and to work alongside. So, but we want you to feel, the captain. It's your ship, your path, your journey.
Yeah, stop giving up all the power.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys already talked about this, the rushed. We want to take you away from that. We want you to be empowered.
Yeah, you're in the captain's seat. You're not feeling rushed into making decisions. You never feel like you're wasting cycle. You're doing something now. And that's the biggest stress for women, is they've got the anxiety, the waiting, and we want you to feel more in control.
Absolutely. So our mission, why this is online. We have been locally helping couples for a lot of years, and like Whitney made mention to earlier, so many of those couples talk about friends and family across Canada and in the U.S., and they want to know if we can help them. And so we are trying to extend our reach so that we can guide more couples through this tumultuous path, and give them the captain's seat to give them the tools they need to get to where they're trying to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So many times people find out about us as naturopathic doctors after they've been at this for years and years and years. And there's one particular couple who came to see me as a referral, actually, from their fertility doctor for acupuncture only. And they were given very strict instructions that I was not to talk them into anything else, which was fine. I worked with them for 1.5 years while they went through IVF and many frozen transfers. I counseled them, definitely, and encouraged them through some of the really horrible times, but only did acupuncture. And then finally, once all of that didn't work, and just shy of $30,000 later, they said, okay, what have you got? Because we don't want to go down that path just yet again. And they've had 2 successful pregnancies. Now, again, like Whitney said, we're not dissing the IVF clinics. They've brought a lot of amazing babies into this world. But we want you to start at the start, not at the end.
Yeah. Yeah. And we did a survey, too, recently. We asked couples. Most of the respondents had successful fertility journeys. So one of the questions was, what do you wish you knew at the beginning that you know, what would you tell your old self or yourself at the beginning of the journey? What advice would you give? And a lot of them were saying, yeah, we wish we knew that there were more tools out there, more that there were herbs to help, that there was the acupuncture, that there was the support.
But there is a way of eating that's actually going to help.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's talk about food.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's been your experience so far? We want to know how you're doing here, and then we also want to know how you're doing in your journey. And we want to make sure we get to the meat of this, so we're probably going to blow through this a little bit here and just move on. Hope no one's offended by that.
Mm-hmm.
So here it is. You are going to start out. I'm going to, up here. This is step number 1, where you are going to be commandeering your vessel.
Taking back control of your ship.
Yeah.
This is your ship, you know?
Yeah. And then we're going to take you, step number 2, over to the navigation. So right now you're lost. You don't know which way's up. You don't know where you're going. You are just randomly out at sea. And we want you to lead. So you are going to be leading your crew into an amazing place. So this makes you and your first mate good and confident, ready to rock and roll. And then you're going to set sail. Sidekick to superhero. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so instead of being, the sidekick, you're on the journey. Your eggs and your ovaries show up every day to being the superhero, so that we'll talk about that. And then, to go from sidekick to superhero takes courage.
Absolutely.
Like to actually step up, put yourself out there going, okay, yep, I'm going to be in charge.
And you're going to need to be compelling because you need to articulate to everybody what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see the 3 big words at the top there, your commandeer, navigate, and set sail. Each one has a step involved, and the first one involves you. We need to have you. You are the captain. You're going to be making that decision to move forward. You're going to be relating with your first mate, connecting, making sure that you know what's going down. And you are going to be prepared, watching the weather, making sure you know what's coming. So this is all about you, these 3 steps here.
Yeah, and then we go to your crew. So who's on your team? Making some walk the plank. So we'll talk about what that means. Recruit. Who else, now that you've dropped maybe a couple people, who needs to be on your team? Who would be useful for you in particular in your situation? And then present. So this is where you're telling the crew, hey, this is where we're going. This is what we're doing. This is my ride. And I'm really happy to have you here with me. Let's
Absolutely.
do it.
And then this is about your ship. So partly about your body, but partly just about you having everything you need. So you're going to have your manifest. You're going to know what you've got. You're going to know what route you plan on taking. And you are going to make sure that everything you need is on board, ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Awesome. So that's where we're going to be taking you for the rest of the webinar here.
So step number 1, commandeer.
Take control. You are the captain, which we've already said a few times.
We're going to go through the 3 steps involved in the commandeering. And again, reminding you this step is about taking you from captive, where everyone else is making your decisions, to where you are this lovely captain of your own ship.
Mm-hmm.
So step 1 is really, this is an inner thing, and you can write some affirmations down, you can do whatever needs to do, but you have to decide once and for all today, you are in control.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's an inner thing. You're deciding to be courageous and confident and taking control. Yeah, this is the inner work. And if you're a more timid person or used to everyone else telling you what to do, this could be a really hard step for you to find your voice.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And so, I think you have all made this decision because you're here.
Yeah.
You're already here. So this is huge.
And drop. Make them walk the plank. Yar.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great picture.
So this is about who's on your team now that's not fully aligned with where you are. Who's not supporting you mentally, emotionally, physically on this journey that you guys have decided
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This step isn't about clearing off the ship. It's about strategically looking at who's on board and who's aligned. So for instance, if you have a naturopath or an acupuncturist who is encouraging you to stop the medications in the IVF and that's not the way and anything else, but you and your partner, your first mate, you've decided IVF is where you're ready to go, you need to find a new naturopath or a new acupuncturist because they're clearly not respecting your decisions. Like that couple I was talking to you about, they were ready to work with me when they were ready to work. If I had pushed them at the beginning, they would have left and we never would have had the chance to work together. So you need to find people who are willing to meet you where you are and work with you. Same with a fertility doctor. You know, if they're saying this is what's next and there's no other choices and you're not aligned with that, or you feel like maybe the revelation stage hasn't been done, you haven't actually done all the tests, then you need to find a new one. This is important.
Yeah, talk to people, go online, see if there's other clinics in your area or other specialists that you could be referred to. There may be options that you had no idea that were there for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then the drop or the walking the plank could also be who's in your social circle. So a friend or an aunt or someone who's not, they're giving you way too much advice or they're bugging you. So when's the next baby or when's your first baby? But, maybe you need to tell them politely to back off. Or creating some distance. If there's someone who really doesn't sit well with you right now, then maybe you're not hanging out with them so often. You don't necessarily have to tell them walk the plank.
You don't need to dismiss everybody from your life. A little note here too. Sometimes the people who challenge you are the right ones to have. Partly that's going to be in their tact and how they're able to challenge you, but it's important to have people on your team that don't agree with everything, because if all you have are people around you telling you what you want to know, it's not going to work. You need people to push you a little bit, but they need to be aligned. You need to have the same values for this to work.
So then the document. So that is creating the manifest. So your ship, a ship has the inventory. Who's on ship? What crew? What crew do you have? What tools do you have? What cargo? So this is an action step, something you can do right now, or tonight, later on, is write down who's on your team. The good, the bad, the ugly. What tools do you already have? Are you using ovulation predictor kits? Do you have a good book that helps you predict your ovulation? Do you have a good app? Is it a good one, or does it just say day 14?
Did you guys know that only 10% of people with a 28-day cycle actually ovulate on day 14?
Yes.
That means 90% of us are not. So it's not that simple.
So some of those magic apps don't work the best.
So this is, remember, this isn't necessarily the action step here. This is about you just getting things down and seeing where you are and what you have. It's very difficult to change things when you don't know where you are. Yeah.
So how in control do you feel of your situation right now, or how?
Scale of 1 to 10, where are you guys at right now? You can type in the box there. From a perspective, a control perspective, mindset, happiness, where you are in this journey, where are you at?
10's the best. 1, 0 is the worst.
Where are you at? Oh dear, we're seeing 2s and 3s. Oh yay, there's an 8. That is very exciting. 2, 5. Okay, so big range here. Some of you are sort of middle. Some of you have already started, working your way towards 10. This is good.
Cool.
Yeah. Good.
And that's great. Yeah, and maybe write that number down on a piece of paper beside you so that you can go back to that later and you can reflect on that.
Absolutely.
So that you can decide what's missing, what piece of the puzzle would bring you from a 2 to a 5 or from a 5 to a 6. Yeah.
And sometimes it's just different parts that you need to shift, right? So here's the question for yourself. If you haven't already, who's part of your crew that probably doesn't need to be right now? Who are the people in your life? We are not suggesting that you write them a nasty email in this moment and make them walk the plank. No. Just jot it down. Make a note.
That's a good point. If you write them a nasty email, please save it or print it and then delete it, or or go to sleep and then rewrite it the next day.
Absolutely.
Because we've all done that.
Yeah. Yes, we have.
Whoops. Yeah. And then how would it feel? How would it feel if those crew members weren't on your team right now? Would you feel a little bit more at peace? Would you feel a little lighter?
Would that change that number? Would you move up from a 2 or a 3? Would you go from a 5 to a 7? You know, if you just maybe it's 1 or 2 key people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's the cool part, though. You get to choose. You are at a fork in the road, and you get to choose. You really do. And this is something that's so easily forgotten when we get into that old paradigm where doctor is God, and we just bow down to their every whim. Yes, they have the expertise, but they are not you. And you need to decide for yourself what's happening, that you're in charge, who's not welcome, and go from there.
Yeah. What tools do you need?
This is about collaboration. You and your crew need to be together. We do not need a big battle.
Yeah, yeah. What if you had more confidence in your crew, your team you're working with? Yeah. What if you had all the tools you needed for this crazy journey?
So, navigation.
Yes. Next. So now's the planning. So where are you going? What are you going to do? What are you and your first mate going to talk about?
You are going to start leading. You are going to stop in the middle of the crowd, turn around, walk the other way, and have other people come with. This is about you figuring your stuff out here. Mm-hmm. So the big first one, you and your first mate. Mm-hmm. You guys need to have some conversations. Mm-hmm. And they need to happen now. No matter where you are in the journey, you need to have these conversations. Right now.
And revisit it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How far are you willing to go? That's a big one. How much money will you sink into this journey?
Medical plan, sorry.
You know, if one of you is willing to mortgage yourself for the next 100 years to have a baby and the other one is not, that's a big problem. And to not completely stereotype, but often women just assume that they are going to be able to manipulate their man into a different decision later. Mm. And men, well, they just don't think about it. They make their decision and they're done. They're not brewing and stewing over all of this the way the women are. Mm. And you need to know this ahead of time.
Yeah, so having those important conversations. Yeah, how far will you go? How much money will you spend? The time devoted. And then this can change. So I think this does need to be like a revisiting check-in. It's not I don't think it needs to be a daily check-in because we'll talk about that a little bit later. But and if these conversations are hard, then maybe you need, a couples counselor or someone who can help you navigate that, as an impartial person so that each person can share their voice.
Yeah, see where they're heard. And if you're not understanding the stresses of the other, most, again, I'm going to stereotype here, but most men really have no idea how torturous this is on their woman. And they often just shut down because they don't know what to do. They may have a ton of stressors that are going on at work or with their family, and they're not sharing it with you because they know that you're talking about babies nonstop and freaking out, so they're not sharing with you. This is really, you need to connect.
Yeah, and with the new program we've got rolling out, one of the tools is a stress questionnaire. So it's a questionnaire that both you and your partner can do separately and then join together so that you can go over certain points on it together. So that you can kind of open each other's eyes like, oh, I didn't know this piece of your life is so stressful, or I didn't know this and that. It just helps you get on the same page.
And this is just one of those things that if you realize that you start to have this conversation with your first mate and it's not going well, this would be one of, this leads us to the next step. You need to recruit someone so that the two of you can have those conversations. Whitney already mentioned that. getting a counselor on board. If that's too much, I mean, a huge amount of what we do with our patients is verging on counseling. It's just having a place to talk. It's having a place to share some laughs, to share some cries, and to be heard. I mean, how many of you at the beginning said, not heard, rushed, away you go? You need a space for that. So you need to recruit the right members to fill in the gaps here.
Yeah, okay. So now that you've dropped some people, you told them to walk the plank, who else do you need on your crew? Do you need a different fertility doctor or specialist? Do you need some acupuncture? If you're going through IVF treatment, there's great research showing that acupuncture improves the odds of pregnancies and successful live births. So this is definitely something you want on your team, someone you want on your team, an acupuncturist or a naturopath who does acupuncture. Yeah, who else? Say you've had abdominal surgery in the past, that perhaps there's some scar tissue going on inside. You might want to check out an osteopath. Someone to make sure that your uterus and ligaments and everything is kind of moving more freely to allow for, you want your best shot.
Might be a chiropractor too. There's all kinds of people who can help you through this. Yeah, getting your massage therapist, meditation instructor, yoga, Tai Chi, Qigong, I mean, you name it. There are a ton of people. You're going to know who you need to recruit based on that manifest you already did. So that document you pull out and you see where are the holes and who do I need to hire to fill those gaps. Yeah,
and the number on your scale, like, so if you were a 2 out of 10, what piece of the puzzle, who on the crew could you recruit that would help bring you to a 4, etc.?
Now, some of you may live in rural communities where gathering all these people is not really an easy task, and I mean, we feel for you. It's when you live in, it doesn't even need to be a huge city center now. You can access most of these people. Don't forget about the online world. There are a ton of people who can do coaching through Skype and online, and can help you navigate this. So remember to work on the online world if the face-to-face stuff is just not going to be possible for you. Because for some of you, sadly, that's the truth. It just won't be.
Yeah. So we've related to our partner, we've recruited some new people, and now we can plan our route. So you and your partner have already said, okay, this is how far we're willing to go. What's the kind of timeline we're looking for? Like, if we have to do IVF, at what point would we consider that? When could we leverage some money or some time? I have patients who their summertime is so busy with work and, or school or whatever they're doing that they can't, literally get their mind around, how am I going to make it to appointments if we're going to be doing IVF or an IUI, intrauterine insemination. So, they know that and they plan their route. So we're going to skip these months and start the voyage again in September.
Yeah, and for other people, it's something practical like weather. If they know they have to drive 45 minutes to appointments, the dead of winter might not be when they want to do that, especially if you live where we do, where there can be an awful lot of snow.
Yeah. So, and then maybe it's talking to your new crew members, in their experience, what has been before. So it's gathering the information for you, and then you and your first mate kind of figure out that route. And this may change, right? As the journey goes, this may change, but at least it gives you a roadmap and you feel more in control.
Absolutely. Yeah. This is about building a solid foundation. And the two of you, this is so important. And for anyone who is, I mean, this doesn't have to be men and women. We know that women have babies with women. Using sperm, please remember this is inclusive here. But the couples who have a solid foundation, they fare better in the end. They reach out more. There are some great studies that have shown that these couples are the ones that come through this. And
that they stay together and that they reach out for more. The other study I was going to mention is back on the stress point, because we were talking about a little bit about that and getting your partner stressed. So if your partner's a male and he has sperm, there's a study showing that occupational stress, So stress at work affects sperm count and the morphology. So it actually does affect. So if he's stressed at work, his sperm are not going to be as great as they could be. So that's something to work on if he's majorly stressed. So again, that's creating that solid foundation.
How's your relationship right now? And I mean, you could feel free to type in a few things there, but again, on that scale of 1 to 10, how much of a toll has your fertility journey so far taken on your relationship? Are you guys connected? Are you still intimate? Or is that a long go? Does it feel like it was a long time ago that you guys actually had the relationship you started with?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Here's some great numbers. Yeah. Asha says, it's amazing now that there's no fertility stuff. They're on a break right now.
That's good. A mental break. Yeah. That's
absolutely.
Good. You can definitely take those times out.
Yeah.
Time outs.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So how is it? Are you still having fun? And then what could you do? What could you do to improve that foundation? Improve your relationship, the foundation of your crew. So reconnecting. So yeah, ideas for you and your partner. You could reconnect, join a team, find a new hobby, something that's outside of this baby making journey so that it's not all focused on it. Because at the end of the day, we want you guys to be okay, and we want you to have had fun and not look back on this years as torturous.
Nobody knows how long this is going to take, and we want to make sure you guys are okay no matter what. This is huge.
Mm-hmm.
How would it feel?
Yeah, how would it feel if you and your partner were on the same page, if you had a plan, if you knew where you were going, if you had the crew members of your dreams, the team of your dreams, that you felt supported?
Can you guys actually imagine looking back on your fertility struggle with a little bit of fondness? That's hard to imagine, but it's totally possible for the two of you to be more connected, for you to learn more about yourself. It's just a silver lining. No one wants fertility problems. No one would want to go through them just to get the silver lining, but the silver lining's there.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the deal. You get to choose. You get to choose how this is going to go for you. Absolutely. So, setting sail.
Now you get to take control. Let's give you some tools, a little bit more tools. The things you're going to pack, how to watch the weather, what to tell your team. It's time to go on your voyage. Oh, I love these guys.
My son thought this was the best slide of the whole deck. Sidekick to superhero. Robin comes in and he's always he's following suit of what Batman's up to. But Batman, dude, that guy has everything in his belt, always ready for what's next. Like, that guy knows. It's amazing.
Yeah, so the superhero knows when it's time to move forward or when it's time to stay put. When it's time to lay in the shadows versus, all right, let's go kick butt.
Absolutely, yeah. You don't want to run in unprepared because you're going to get your butt handed to you. The superhero knows when to be restrained, let's say. Absolutely. So, the preparation.
Preparing. So you're here, you already know there are ups and downs. You've got the waiting, so you get, now we get to try again, then we've got the pregnancy test again. So there's the ups and downs, the weather. So watching for the weather, being prepared.
Being prepared means having the tools and knowing how to use them before you need them. You would not want to be learning how to use a compass or your new GPS on a boat in the middle of a 3-foot wave horrible Georgian Bay, because that's local. It's just not the time to be figuring it out. So before you need them, you need the yoga, you need the meditation, you need the breathing exercises, you need the counselor, you need the whoever it is that is going to help you get through this.
Yeah. And then the watching the weather is also about if there's stuff going on in your life that is, that's not conducive to baby making. So if you're living with your in-laws right now because your house was flooded, maybe you need to skip a month or two because that's way stressful.
Yeah, if you started trying and then you had a death or two in the family, or you had a major career change, or you had some things pop up, it's okay to delay a little bit so that you can give yourself the best shot. And that's about the preparation, being mentally ready to just say, okay, now's not the time, and take a break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And give yourself permission.
Yeah.
And then the present. So you're the CEO, you're the superhero. Time to tell your team, this is what we're doing. This is the route we've chosen. Can you help me on this journey?
Absolutely. I'm going to go back and pick on the acupuncturists and naturopaths again. If you walk in and say, we've decided we're going to do IVF, and they start pushing you to do other things, you either need to be compelling and bring them on board, or you need to be able to walk away and find someone who's going to support your choices. Mm-hmm. This is about being that captain and about presenting your plan. And you may need your partner to come in on this. Like Whitney was saying, some people don't feel strong enough, so don't go to the appointments on your own. Don't walk in to see that IVF doctor who makes you feel like you're, 3 apples high. Bring in what you need. You need to be presenting here. This is you bringing them on board.
Yeah, and then pack. So now you need to, what's going to go on your ship? Here we're going to talk about food. So what's going to go in your body? So yeah, if you're going on the ship, you need to pack some food to sustain you.
Absolutely.
So you have a great
You need all your
voyage.
provisions. Yeah, you need your provisions. And you need those tools, right? Like we talked about. So this is about what do you need?
Yeah, so this is going to give you some, go-to steps. So
yeah,
what can you eat?
So we're going to spend a little bit more time on this than we have anything else, just purely because, it's a big conversation. So this is a very modest look at the Mediterranean diet, and we'll sort of just walk you through it at this point. The Mediterranean diet has been well researched with respect to fertility, both in terms of naturally getting pregnant and using it with IVF and that kind of thing. Now, where I say modest, this is 4+. So this is the bare minimum. We encourage you to hit the 10 or 11 servings of vegetables a day and fruits. This is meant to be a whole food, plant-based diet. Write that down and stick it on your fridge. Whole food, plant-based. Now, back in the day when I started my practice, it was easy to say whole grain because no one was manipulating that yet. But now they've manipulated like Fruit Loops into saying it's whole grain. It's not. Fruit Loops are not healthy.
Horrible.
They're not, ever, no matter what the box says. So don't get caught in that silly game. The base of every meal should start with vegetables, at least a cup. If you had a cup of vegetables with breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you're at 6 servings. That's not that much. It's a cup. It's really not that much. You can make yourself an omelet in the morning with a cup of veggies, or if vegetables for breakfast just makes you gag, then do 2 cups with, your lunch and your dinner.
You can do smoothie,
Yep.
Blend up some kale or spinach,
Absolutely.
maybe a little avocado with your
kinds of
banana and your
ways.
fruit.
Yeah, lots of ways to fit that in. So that is where you're going to start every meal, and over here, right here. The 2 servings of whole grains, we are a little more generous there. We say between 2 and 4. And again, this is key. Whole grain, whole. We want you to eat the brown rice, eat the barley, eat the rolled oats, the quinoa. Replace your breakfast cereal. And, there are some that claim whole grain. Again, Tashi is one that is, it's not bad. But why not actually cook a whole grain for yourself for breakfast instead of pouring it out of a box?
Yep. We've been cooking some millet at home.
Kamut flakes are another one that's pretty tasty. Adds a different chewiness and that kind of stuff. Bulk stores and most grocery stores now have a huge variety. So, stretch a little bit. You don't need to buy cookbooks. You can get everything you need online for free. It's amazing.
Yeah.
When it comes to the protein, again, plant-based is a big piece of this. So we want you to start your protein with nuts and seeds, beans, lentils, legumes of any sort, and then using your fish as your primary source of meat protein, and then adding the poultry and the eggs. The red meats really should be once a week at tops. A true Mediterranean diet, that would be more like once a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's big.
Yeah. The dairy, so again, it's cutting back. A lot of us do overdo it on dairy. It's very tasty. I don't blame you.
Yes. Yes.
But on the Mediterranean diet, it's used more as like a topping. So you might do a sprinkle of feta cheese on your veggies on your salad. Rather than like the whole thing.
One thing that's really important to note here is when you are trying to get pregnant, you are not going to use the low-fat or non-fat dairy, which seems counterintuitive because we're telling you that you should be watching that. But Harvard published a book called The Fertility Diet, and it was based on the Nurses' Health Study, and it was one of the longest studies they ever did. The full-fat dairy was much more promising with respect to help with fertility. So swap out that low-fat, no-fat Greek yogurt to a full-fat Greek yogurt and use a dollop of it as opposed to eating, a cup and a half of it. Yeah, really, really important there. And the healthy oils, you're looking at the canola oil, the avocado, that
olive oil, coconut.
Yeah. The red wine as optional there. You have to decide where this rolls for you. If having a glass of wine, 4 to 5 ounces of wine, if that helps you chill out at night and hang out with your partner and enjoy some great conversation, you know what? It might be doing more good than harm. If, however, you are sitting there by yourself getting 8 to 10 ounces of or more, not helpful for fertility, but we think most of you know that already. So.
And the other thing about the Mediterranean diet that's not in this particular one is about the enjoyment of your food.
Absolutely.
So actually preparing your food, having family or your spouse around, sitting down to the meal, enjoying the company, and savoring the food.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's huge. Yeah. Yeah. Some of you already downloaded the Fuel Your Fertility. Again, that was based off of that book, The Fertility Diet from Harvard Press. And they have some really great research and really great compelling evidence to support what we just told you about eating. So eating has a lot to do with what you're doing. How does your diet measure up? How close are you? How many servings of fruits and vegetables are you eating in a day right now?
Oh, not enough. I need to work on this too.
Most of us do. Eating healthfully requires effort. It really does. You can't haphazardly consume a whole food plant-based diet in our crazy world. You're going to need to do some prep.
Yeah.
And that's where this piece comes in. What small changes can you make right now? If you answered 4 in the last question, then you know what? This week, make it 5. Find a way to grab half a cup of carrots and have some hummus or something. Just add a little bit. Yeah. This also goes for the rest of it. It's not just your food. What small changes can you make with your exercise?
Yeah. What small changes can you make to prepare for those ups and downs with the weather? So, okay, I'm going to start meditating 2 minutes a day.
Absolutely.
2 minutes. 2 minutes sounds scary. 30 seconds.
Absolutely.
Small, like itty-bitty changes so that eventually it becomes part of your lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So write those down now. Like what, little small goals can you make for yourself right now? And then how would it feel if you had the tools to ride the waves? If you were out there, and is it a scary adventure out on the water or an exciting adventure?
There's a really big mental picture difference between learning how to surf and being on a raft with no oars just flying around in scary waters. Right? You need to grab a board and have some fun with this. Get your confidence.
Yeah, so again, choosing, okay? So from today on, what did you learn today that you could choose to do a little bit differently? Okay, and what if you took a little bit more charge of your plan, of your journey, of your relationship, of your everything?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So why did you come? Obviously, you're here because you want to take more control of your fertility and what's going on. You're here because you want to be pregnant. So you felt frustrated, lost, unsure, annoyed. What were those other
Fat.
words? Fat. Out of control.
Rushed. All those things. Absolutely.
Yeah. You didn't know what tools. So have you thought about how far you'd go? Has this kind of tweaked things in your mind of, yeah, we haven't really had that conversation of how much money could we actually spend on this, or where's my line in the sand? When are we done? Or when are we choosing to go on a different path? Okay, we're going to consider adoption, or we're going to consider a sperm donor, or whatever your situation is.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. So who's on your team? What do you need?
So our program here, we begin we're going to walk you through the very quick 3 steps. The big reveal is where we are going to ask you to investigate. And so this is very much that commandeering piece of things, is just understanding, when do you ovulate? Do you ovulate? What does that look like? You know, have you actually had all the tests done that need to be done before you take the next step?
Yeah. What are underlying conditions? If you've had miscarriages, have you been fully investigated for what the causes could be?
I had a woman in last night for her first visit, and she's had 4 miscarriages. She's not been investigated yet.
Wow.
No one has looked into anything. They've just said, well, you're fat and you're getting older, and this is what happens. Not good enough.
No.
Not good enough.
You want more answers. Yeah.
Dig a little deeper.
Yeah, so that's what we do with people, is in that reveal stage. What is going on? Let's figure this out. So then you got your game plan that you can prepare your route.
Absolutely.
Better. And then the renew. So what can we do to renew your health? Take you from average to awesome. Most of us think we're in decent shape. Like, yeah, I'm all right.
Yeah.
I'm kind of healthy.
But the diet, that's a big one. The exercise, the sleep. You know, some of those foundational pieces are really important.
Yeah, for fertility, for sure.
And to reclaim yourself. This is about you being okay no matter what. No doctor, including us, can tell you how long this is going to take. And you need to be okay no matter what. This is really, really important. You need to reclaim that sense of self, reclaim that confidence, and be all you can be.
Yeah.
Here's Dr. Whitney with one of our newest patients.
Yay! So this is why we do it.
That's it.
Yeah, the happy babies. So that's what we want for you, or if this is your happy ending, then this is what we want for you. If your happy ending looks a little different than this, that is okay too.
Absolutely.
We want to help you get there. So we've got the fertility tranquility, how to make a baby without the crazy. So that's our mission, is to help women empower themselves through this journey. We hope you've gotten a few things out of this today. Figure out what your bodies are telling you. Figure out why you're not pregnant and get you on a good path. And to make the baby without the crazy.
That's really our mission. So many women are so anxious and so wound up and totally out of control. And we really want this to happen without the crazy. And sometimes that's all we're here for. Sometimes we're just here to sift through the mess and to talk you through and to figure out what's coming. Yeah.
So now's our invitation to you. We do offer free fertility strategy sessions. We can give you a call. We have time for about 10 today. Or you can, if you want, type into the question box your name and your phone number, and even a good time to call. That would be great. And then Kerri and I will give you a call, and we will chat about what's going on for you.
And how we might be able to help. And some of you are going to want to work one-on-one with us, and some of you are more in a do-it-yourself stage. And we're very much about meeting you where you're at. So this fertility strategy session is about figuring out whether or not we are a good fit for you. And if we are not, helping you figure out what you need. Yeah. So this is huge. So please just let us know if you'd like us to give you a shout, and we will be doing that in the next couple of hours. So if that's not a good time, then absolutely please give us a better time frame as to when to get in touch with you, and we can sort that out. And if you guys are local, you can also book the strategy session off of our website. So if you can come into the office, you can go to our website, which I'm going to type in right now. and you can go to the book an appointment, which is in the top right-hand corner of the website, and book a fertility strategy session from there. If you would like to come in and meet with us one-on-one, this is absolutely fabulous.
Yeah, and if not, yeah, we'll still give you a call today. Yeah, so definitely, yeah. Just put in your phone number, we'll give you a call. And then now that you've attended our first webinar, we will be doing some, there'll be others coming forward as well.
Absolutely. Yep, absolutely. Many of you are typing in your information, which is absolutely fantastic. Thank you. If any of you have some quick questions, we have just less than 10 minutes, so we can certainly answer a question or two. If you have anything that we didn't cover that you were hoping to hear, or if there's something that you'd like us to clarify on, we're very happy to do that. Oh, great, exciting. A couple of people here are going to be coming in to see us soon, so that's wonderful. Cool. Exercise is it's a great question, Shannon. Thank you. Exercise is a very tricky one, and it's very personal.
Yeah, so the question is, how do you feel about exercise? How much is too much or how much is too little? So the research shows that triathletes or long distance runners or men who cycle for more than 3 or 4 hours a day, that's not good for their fertility. So definitely, but then there's the other half. So we know that a sedentary lifestyle, so someone who doesn't exercise or move much at all, has an effect on fertility. One study was about the men. So they had better pregnancy outcomes when they exercised 3 times a week.
This was the men.
Yeah.
This was the men.
So get your guy off the couch.
Absolutely. So, yeah, super strenuous, heart rate climbing, really aggressive exercise, probably not your best bet. Runners have the hardest time with this because running gives them so much pleasure. It's about slowing down your pace, decreasing your distance, and going from there. So if you're a runner, I'm sorry, but yeah, you are going to have to, if you're a long distance runner, you're going to have to bring that down. One important thing, someone had mentioned that they felt fat in their last session with their doctor. So there is a wonderful study that took obese women and dropped them into, they just watched them. And irrelevant of whether they lost weight or not, the women who exercised not only had bigger pregnancy rates, but they had more live birth rates, like 25% more compared to it's huge. So moving is absolutely key. You do need to exercise. You just have to watch what you're doing. So I'm sorry, Shannon, if that doesn't answer your question entirely. We would need to know more about you and the type of exercise to answer that better. But yes, you need to move, and no, you don't need to be running marathons right now. Not in your best bet. Wonderful. Great. Cool. Is Clomid a successful drug to be on? There are a ton of people who have had babies with Clomid. So it can be a successful drug. Where its greatest success lies is when that ovulation isn't occurring optimally. And so it's a drug that also has some side effects of a thin lining and a few other things. We are very, very big fans of cycle monitoring when people are medicated, and we often find even family doctors just give Clomid. And there's no way to know if you're not watching the follicles, and you're not watching the lining, whether it's the right dose. Yeah, so it's a biggie.
Yeah, and then, if you are deciding to do that, there are some known supplements that help with side effects as well as the improvement of chances. So working with someone who's knowledgeable on that is a good thing to do.
Absolutely. And yes, Nikki, one of the best cures for PCOS is pregnancy. That's also true for endometriosis. Sadly, both PCOS and endometriosis can make the getting pregnant part a little tricky.
Well, that's tricky.
So, yeah. The PCOS is something that, thankfully, because of its negative effects on fertility, has received a huge amount of research from the fertility clinics. And the fertility clinics are very motivated. So there's a lot of great research coming out with the natural therapies for that, which is super amazing. PCOS, really following that Mediterranean diet, keeping those carbohydrates as whole as possible. So really concentrating on that and moving that body as much as possible. Those are two things that you have full control over that are more impactful than any herb you could ever swallow. Yeah, it's big. I know it's not easy. And, it's easy to sit over here and go, oh, yeah, just move more and eat better. Whitney and I are both working on that. What herbs could I start today to help besides prenatal and folic acid? Oh, that's a big question, Melissa.
It's tricky. Yeah, it's hard to, there's no one herb for everybody, so it's really about figuring out. Yeah, we'll have to talk to you about that.
No worries.
We can talk to you one-on-one.
We have a master document since we've been concentrating on fertility, and as we go to seminars and as we learn things from books, it's now at 60 pages. So it's big. There are so many different herbs, and all of them can be wonderfully successful if used properly. So it would be a big disservice to say, oh yeah, just start on blah blah blah, and yeah, it may not be what's best. So
awesome.
Sounds good, Ashley. We'll totally do this at your appointment tomorrow. All right. We want to thank all of you. Oh, Melissa, that's the best absolute compliment.
She says, I feel more confident after this webinar. Perfect.
That was our plan.
Yeah.
That gives us shivers.
Yeah, that's what we wanted, right? So, Captain, go forth.
Absolutely. Set sail and have a rocking good time.
Cool.
And we will talk to many of you very soon. Thank you so much for attending, and we look forward to seeing all of you. Take care, guys.
Thanks, guys.